When you're on a budget, getting great picture quality out of any display is difficult to pull off, but it seems Hisense might just be my new go-to budget pick. If someone wants a big screen on a budget, this is honestly where I would go. So to kick things off, we first removed our old 65-inch Vizio to make way for the Hisense U7H, as I didn't plan on wall mounting the TV just yet. Now, we originally set out to use our current entertainment stand to sit the U7H on by taking advantage of Hisense's option to attach the stand legs more towards the center of the TV than near the outer edges. So you may notice just how deep the stand legs are on the 85-inch version of the Hisense U7H, needing nearly 18 inches of space on your stand in order for it to fit, which posed a problem for us since the depth of our old TV stand was only 15 inches deep. Now, my original plan to use our old TV stand was based on images I saw across various retailers and review sites, where you see the stand legs are sort of the traditional triangle shape. Even Hisense's very own website picture doesn't feature the actual stands that come with the TV, but instead the triangular shaped ones. Now, even the stand in our theater room that holds our 77-inch C1 OLED isn't deep enough for the stands on the U7H, so that wasn't going to work either. Now, in the end, my wife and I had to adapt and grab the only thing in the house that would fit it, our dresser. So once we had figured that out and my wife did a few twirls to celebrate, it was pretty smooth sailing after that. Now, unboxing a TV of this size is always somewhat of a chore, but it was made easier by the included instructions. Now, using the packing material as sort of a base to lay the TV down on worked extremely well. Now, in the box, you'll find the stands for each side of the display, a basic backlit remote with batteries, the power cable, and an instructional guide for easy installation of the included stands. And the feet can only attach one way, so it's really hard to mess up the installation. And a great addition Hisense made here too was to add removable handles to the upper part of the TV. Now, this made it way easier to pick up and move around with my wife's help, and having dedicated grab points or removable handles is something I wouldn't mind seeing on larger displays going forward. In terms of inputs and outputs on the U7H, on the side you'll find a USB 3.0 port, a total of 4 HDMI inputs, 2 of which are HDMI 2.1 inputs, including one that supports eARC, while the other 2 are HDMI 2.0 inputs. Below that you'll find a coax connection for over-the-air antenna signals, an AV in jack that, when used with a breakout cable, will allow you to connect composite video sources, and just below that is a headphone out jack. Just to the left of that, on the back of the display, you'll find a LAN port for hardwired internet connections, along with an optical audio output jack and a USB 2.0 port. In terms of HDR support, along with display and gaming features, the U7H supports all current HDR formats, including HDR10, HDR10+, HLG, and Dolby Vision, and has a total of 128 local dimming zones with a peak brightness of 1000 nits. It does also support 4K at 120 Hz and variable refresh rate from consoles like the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. So we got everything set up and everything's good to go, but my wife helped me tremendously throughout this whole setup process, and because it's in the living room and we both use it, she uses it, I wanted to bring her into the video and have a conversation with her about the TV and everything. So Trish, welcome.
Hello.
So I just wanted to talk to you about the TV and just get your general impressions from maybe a non-audiophile, videophile, nerdy standpoint, right? Like, you know, what would it be like if you, the kind of the average consumer, were to go buy this TV, and how would you feel about it? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. So I want to start with setup. Now, you've helped me set up TVs before.
Right.
You helped me set up the LG OLED, and as someone who's never had that before, can you actually tell me how it was setting up the Hisense versus setting up the OLED?
I feel like it was night and day. Honestly, setting up the OLED was super scary, and I just felt like you had to be so careful where you grabbed it, and it was so cumbersome because it's so huge. Plus, you were stressed, I was stressed. One bad move and
you're out of
there goes the TV.
Yeah, you're out of $2,500 TV. Whereas this, I think it's much lighter than the 77-inch OLED.
Yeah.
And someone mentioned something about handles in another video I watched, and they were like, the handles are pointless. Would you say you're a very strong person?
I mean, I basically have T-Rex arms. They're like little. So I don't have a lot of strength in my arms. Anything that can help. And that was, I was nervous about it because, you know, the TV has been loaned to us. So it was really scary at first. And then as soon as we picked it up, I was like, oh, we got this. This is, so it was so different because there's that anticipation of, you know, oh no, this is gonna be scary. With the Hisense TV, it was, as soon as we picked it up and I was like, okay, cool. And we just moved it into place and I felt like great. And that I don't know why people would say they don't like the handles. They're on the back too, so why does it matter?
Yeah, and you can take them off.
Yeah.
So it's great. I think it's just a nice little added bonus that I don't think I've actually seen on a TV before. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I haven't either.
So you saw earlier in the video too, we had the issue with the feet. We were gonna originally use our old TV stand, but because of the way the feet and the way they're shaped, we couldn't. We actually had to move that stand out of the way and the dresser in there. And so the TV is actually higher than we would have liked. Like, it still looks fine, but if we were to keep the TV, we definitely want to get something to lower it.
Yeah, we'd get a lower, well, it's on a dresser, so
dressers aren't typically used for housing TVs.
Yeah, they're not entertainment stands, but also because of the feet that are on it, we'll have to be really careful in looking at the depth because a lot of entertainment stands are not.
They're not deep enough.
Because it's, how many is it?
It's almost 18 inches deep. And I mentioned it earlier in the video where it won't even fit on the stand in the theater room. That kind of stunk. But we got it all set up. So I turned it on, I was setting it up, and we were just kind of, I was on Disney Plus watching some stuff just to kind of test it out. But I was noticing something, and I think you picked up on it too, and that was the elevated black levels.
Yeah, it honestly looked kind of bad. It looked very washed out.
It was very washed out. What I ended up doing, I think we were watching Encanto, I just dropped the brightness down by 3 clicks, and we were both like, oh, there it is.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Just that little thing. So right out of the box, the picture quality wasn't where I personally would have liked it, where it wasn't where you would have liked. And just making that small adjustment went a long way to really improving the picture quality. And we've actually enjoyed it. We've been using it a lot for watching like YouTube, for watching maybe some shows on Netflix here and there, just kind of testing it out. I don't really have any major complaints. Obviously, it's not going to match the OLED in terms of picture quality. I mean,
they're kind two different types. It's like,
but also the price and the the LG is considered a high-end OLED, and the Hisense U7H is kind of like middle of the road, I would say. Like, it's like their mid-range offering. So I don't think it's a fair comparison. But have you noticed anything with the way the TV looks, or like have you enjoyed the way the picture quality is after I made those tweaks?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, since you did that, like before I was like, oh, watch this, but it's gonna bother me, and now I don't even think about it. Yeah, the size of it is great, and for me, I love that. Like, if you're looking for a really big TV, that's a good TV to get.
So, okay, you've been watching TV shows and movies and here and there, and I've been kind of, there too, testing it out and everything, but I've also been gaming on it. So I've been moving the PlayStation 5 and Series X into the living room sometimes to game on it. I'm really impressed with the gaming features of the U7H. It kind of ticks all the boxes. Does 4K 120, supports variable refresh rate, which for gaming in this generation and going forward is kind of a big deal. Now, when I say it does 4K 120, it will accept that signal, but it actually halves the resolution. So it's a bit blurrier if you're feeding it a 4K 120 hertz signal. And I'll kind of go more in depth on that in the full review, but this is just kind of like our general impressions. I did notice a difference. I think I showed you some kind of, oh, this is with it, just 60, and then this is 120. Can you tell like a difference in like the overall clarity of it?
Yeah.
Going to like the 120, it's not as sharp or detailed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think that has a lot to do as well with how far away you're sitting. We sit about 7 feet away from it, so we can kind of see everything. But if you're further back, then that may not be an issue. If you're sitting 12, 13 feet back, you might not be able to resolve that detail anyway. But it's something that I definitely want to mention because I see it mentioned in reviews, and it definitely is a thing. And it's kind of I wouldn't say a deal breaker for me if it was like the living room TV, but as my main gaming TV, I would definitely want 4K 120 without any compromises. So that's something you definitely want to keep in mind. So yeah, it does support HDR, actually all the HDR formats, HDR10, HDR10 Plus, HLG, Dolby Vision, you're covered there. But what it doesn't do for gaming is it doesn't support HGIG. So if you're using like the system level calibration on the Series X or PS5, you're just gonna have to set that up going off of the what's on screen. You can't disable the tone mapping in the display. So if that's important to you, I know you have no idea what I'm talking about, Trish.
No.
But if that's important to you, then that's something to also consider. But overall, the whole gaming feature package is really, really strong, I feel like, especially at this price range. Remember, as of the time of this recording, I looked at Best Buy, you can pick up the 85-inch U7H for $1,600, $1,599.
Wow.
Which, to get the kind of quality you get out of it at that price, I think is really, really good. It's a really strong contender. As for me, after I made the tweaks to it, a really strong contender for my budget pick. If someone wants a big screen on a budget, this is honestly where I would go. So I do want to touch on sound quality really quick. And for me, it gets the job done. As with any TV sound, I'm not wowed by it. I'm not taken back by how good it sounds. It sounds adequate enough.
Yeah.
Where if you're in a pinch, you could use it, but you honestly want to add like a sound bar at least, or maybe a stereo, a couple of speakers and a subwoofer, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
What do you think? Like, is it
Definitely
serviceable in the audio department?
I mean, I would say probably for, people like my parents, it would be fine. They're not into like all the big sound stuff. So if you're not into home theater and you're not like an audiophile, it would be fine. When it's on, I haven't been like, oh, this is not good. I think if we're watching a movie, like we haven't watched any action movies or anything like that, because we have the theater room and we have subwoofers and all ceiling. We have the overhead speakers and all of that, speakers in the ceiling and stuff. I would definitely notice that, because that's stuff that I love. So, I like to hear sound. Be submersive, and it's definitely not submersive.
Submersive or immersive?
Immersive.
Submersive, we're going down below.
No, but it's not. Yeah, it's definitely not like, it doesn't give you that immersive experience where you feel like you're in it. However, can I hear what's going on? Yeah, when my brother and his family were over, we were playing some clips to, like we had a couple we wanted to show him, and he wanted us to see a couple, and we had everybody kind of spread out, and nobody was like, I can't hear what they're saying, so they definitely get the job done.
So like I said, totally worth the price in my opinion. Would you say the same thing?
Absolutely.
So if you were to walk into Best Buy, you're looking for a large screen TV and you just wanted something to put on your wall or on a stand, and you pick this up, if you got it home, would you like feel super disappointed?
No.
Especially like after you kind of made the tweaks to the settings and gotten rid of the kind of washed out look that the TV has by default?
No, I wouldn't be disappointed. I mean, I'd be really happy. There's a big difference between the Vizio and the Hisense, which it took like a whole second to turn on, and the Vizio was literally taking a minute. Yeah. Literally like 60 seconds to turn on. And
this is instant. When you hit the power button, you hear the power supply click, or the power relay, whatever, and then it's on. It's really snappy and intuitive. The apps are really easy to use.
Yeah.
I should mention that too, like Netflix, all that stuff, really easy to get to. The setup in the beginning does take a little bit as it's downloading updates and getting everything good to go. But other than that, like once you're in Netflix or something, it's pretty snappy.
Yeah. I love it. So just a lot of positives for it. So if you like are just looking for a big screen TV, I would say it's a great bargain, really.
I think you can kind of pick your size that you want and really like get a good bang for the buck. I mean, is it going to be an OLED? No. They're not even trying to contend with an OLED at that price, that you can't get an OLED that has all these features at that price.
Right.
So that's my opinion. I'm sticking to it for now. Look for the full review coming soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you, Trish, for joining.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I will catch you in the next one.